Hello dear students, welcome back to the English session of 8th standard. In this video lecture, we will begin with the new lesson, that is Ramanujan. Yes, Ramanujan was an Indian mathematician. He has been contributed in the mathematics. Without any pure and proper training in the mathematics, he had been elected in the Royal Society of England, and he has made his contribution in the mathematics as well as digiting as well as developing the numbers, etc. So the Ramanujan, we can see he born on 22nd December 1811 and he died on 26th of April 1920. He completed his education through the Trinity College, University of Cambridge. Along with all the mathematicians, he had made a great impact or a great sign as a mathematician in the India. Let us see more about him and the lesson, that is Ramanujan. One of the morning of the 1913. One of the morning of the 1930, Hardy found. Now who was this Hardy? Hardy means the great English mathematician. So Hardy found among the letter on his breakfast table. It was a large untidy envelope discovered decorated with Indian stamp, and there he found a great pocket or an envelope where the pocket was or envelope was decorated with the Indian stamps. When he opened it, he found sheets of papers by no means clean. By no means clean, by no means clean. By no means clean, it is a phrase. By no means clean, it is a phrase. That means what we can say? Certainly no way it was clean. On which what we can say, in a non-English script where the line after line of symbols he found. The Hardy glanced at them. He looked at them without enthusiasm. Without enthusiasm means what we can say, lack of interest. Without interest, without paying a much attention towards it, he looked it out. He glanced it out. He felt more than anything. Hardy felt more than anything very much uninteresting. That means he felt very bored. He glanced at the letter which was written in halting English. That means what we can say, faltering or hesitation, or what we can say, in a disordered way. And there was a sign by an unknown Indian person. Over there, he found a sign which was of unknown Indian. The script, it appeared to consist of most of the theorems in it. And it appeared to be very fantastic looking, as well as we can say there were one or two which were already or well known, as it laid out as though they were so original and so basic pure, and there were no proofs of any kinds. So Hardy was not only bored but also very irritated. By looking that, he felt himself very bored and irritated. Also, it seemed like a curious kind of fraud. He put the manuscript. Now what is manuscript? A handwritten document. He scribbled the manuscript aside and and went on with his day's day-to-day routine. After his lunch, he loped off. He loped off means L-O-P-E-D. L-O-P-E-D-O-F-F. He loped off, that means he moved along with the long easy steps. After his lunch. After his lunch, he loped off for a game of real tennis in the university court. And it felt that if it had been a summer, he would have walked down to the Fennels to watch cricket. In the late afternoon, he strolled back. Strolled back means what we can say, he walked in leisurely way, or he wandered. And he wandered or he walked in a leisure way that to his rooms. That particular day, though, while the timetable wasn't altered means wasn't changed. So internally, things were not going according to the plan of Hardy. And at the back of his mind, getting in the way of his complete pleasure in his game. Then in the Indian manuscript, this was necked away, wild theorems. Necked away means annoyed by many of the puzzles. And what we can say, then there were the void theorems, and these theorems such as he had never seen before and nor imagined. So a fraud of genius. A question was forming itself with a epigrammatic clarity. Now what is meant by epigrammatic clarity? The epigrammatic clarity means what we can say, short and witty expressions. Short and witty expressions, that we can say the epigrammatic clarity. And these kind of expressions, it is a fraud of genius more probably than an unknown mathematician of genius, he thought. And back in the Trinity. Trinity means, it already we have seen what is the Trinity. Trinity, it is a name of college. We can say University of Cambridge. So back in Trinity, he had another look at the script and he sent word to the Littlewood. Now who is this Littlewood? The Littlewood means J.E. Littlewood, an English mathematician. That means he sent the script to the Littlewood, probably by the messenger, not by the telephone. For which, like the all, they must have a discussion after hall. Now what is meant by after hall? After dinner in the dining hall. That is called after hall. Then who will have the discussions here? Of course, Mr. Hardy and Mr. Littlewood. Then before midnight, they knew and knew for certain. And knew for certain means no doubt at all. No doubts at all. So the writer of these manuscripts was a man of genius. And that was as much as they could judge. As they could judge the manuscript, they thought over it, the man would be a great genius. That means in terms of these kind of natural mathematical theorems, and it was only later that Hardy decided that Ramanujan was in these terms of the natural mathematical genius in the class of Gauss and Euler. Now what is Gauss and Euler? Gauss, G-A-U-S-S. G-A-U-S-S. And Euler, E-U-L-E-R. Now who were these Gauss and Euler? we can say Gauss was German mathematician, Euler was Swiss mathematician. But that he could not expect because of the defects. Defects means what you can say? Flaw or shortcomings that he could not accept or that he could not manage with because some of the defects of his education. Because of his education, he had come on the scene too very late in the line of mathematical history. Who? Of course, Ramanujan. And to make such a kind of great contribution on the same scale which can be compared with the two of the greatest mathematicians like Gauss and Euler. And the following day, Hardy went into an action that Ramanujan must be brought to England. Hardy decided to bring the Ramanujan to England, and that is why money was not a major problem, as the Trinity had usually been good at very supporting unorthodox. Means what we can say unorthodox means? That means unconventional or uncommon talent we can say. And once Hardy was determined, if once he had a strong wish to do so, no human agency could have stopped Ramanujan, but they needed certain amount of help from a superhuman one. So in case of Ramanujan, what we can say? Ramanujan turned out to be a poor clerk in Madras, Chennai, who was living with his wife on 20 pounds a year. That means he earned 20 pounds in a year and he could survive with those money. He was usually strict about his religious observances with a mother who was even stricter than him. And it looked that it was very impossible that he could break the ban and cross the water. Cross the water means what we can say here, the cross the water means to travel across the sea or ocean. And fortunately or similarly, what we can say, his mother had also the highest respect for the goddesses of Namakkal. Namakkal here it is not the name of the goddesses. Namakkal it is the name of district in Tamil Nadu. And what we can say, the district of Tamil Nadu, there was a goddesses with whom the mother of the Ramanujan was highly respected by. And finally, one morning, Ramanujan's mother made a startling. Now, what is meant by startling? Startling means surprising. Okay, she made a startling announcement, surprising announcement that she had a dream that the previous night in which she saw her son, means who? The Ramanujan. Her son seated in a big hall among a group of Europeans, and the goddesses of Namakkal had commanded to whom? To her, means to mother. The Namakkal goddesses had commanded her not to stand in the way of her son as fulfilling his life's purpose. And these say Ramanujan's Indian biographer. That means it was a very agreeable surprise to all concerned with Ramanujan. So what we can say, it was a kind of superstitions that the Ramanujan's mother was believed in it. So in this way, we have seen half of the part of our lesson, Ramanujan. In the next video lecture, we will continue with the rest of the part. So thank you for watching this video and have a nice day.